This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very exciting start to this drive. Don't even worry about coming to my face. My name is Patrick and on camera is Manu. We have lions very, very close to a buffalo right now. We are just seconds away from a hunt. We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. Any questions or comments, please use that hashtag SafariLive. But these lions are literally 10 metres, 30 feet away from the buffalo, and the buffalo have not noticed yet. This is edge of your seat stuff. This is deja vu. The other day we had the Oweno prides with 2 buffalo, but they were 1 down. Now there is Butternut thrown into the mix, one of the older ones, more experience. So this is anyone's game today. Very close now. This is tense stuff. Very exciting start to this drive. Almost as if it was on cue. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're... Oh, the buffalo in the line is... Oh, so close now. It's sitting there looking at it from literally 5 metres, 15 feet. This is unreal. I am ecstatic right now. I wonder which one they're going to make a move on. Okay, so the buffalo know this now. All right, and we're on. So we've got one at the back there. We'll try and get the anchor. All right, I'm going to move up now. Chase is on. This is hectic stuff. This might get a little bit bumpy. Okay, making the attempt at the anchor again. Okay, so one is on the back. One's got the back position now. Okay, kicked off again. Sorry, I'm trying to get as close to this as possible. They are moving very quickly right now. Crazy. Okay. Okay, so we've got another attempt at the back. Please. Oh, okay, so hold on, guys. Just making through this bit. Okay, so the action has slowed down a bit, which is good. Gives us a chance to catch up. The lion are still on these buffalo. They haven't made an escape yet. So here we are, we've caught up. And the buffalo just trying to keep this one at bay. We can see the other one on the side will be helping out here. So there's 2 buffalo versus 5 lion right now. So the male's coming in at the back, but still sitting too far away to make a move. Right, so both the buffalo are involved in this now. The lion's just sitting patiently. I can see 4 lion heads all pretty much surrounding the buffalo here. So one of the lions will try and get the anchor down on the back, and then the next point will probably be the Achilles tendons that they will want to get. Try to sever and stop them from being able to step forward. Okay, so I can see all 5 lions now, and they are closing in on this one. Wow. I am a bit lost for words right now. This is intense. Oh, who is going to make the move? Just not being able to get into the position right now. As I did say, there is only 2 older females in this pride, but these 2 females have made successful buffalo kill on their own when the 2 younger females of this pride and the younger male were still not old enough to be able to participate in hunts. So they have the experience, they have the numbers. It's just a matter of whether they can piece it all together. Okay, I'm just going to move a little bit further forward now. So if anyone did join me yesterday, you would have seen a very similar situation unfolding, almost as if deja vu. Oh, great, there's a road here. That's even better. So we have been following the Owinos for about 2 or 3 hours now, since they have been reunited with Butternut, and they did try and hunt a warthog but failed, but these buffalo came right after. Now it's just going to be a matter of wearing the buffalo down and getting in a good spot. This could play out for a while. Definitely has a better chance. They have a better chance than they did yesterday. Buffalo's just making very well. Well, they didn't even give the buffalo the courtesy to finish its meal. We can see it's still got grass hanging out of its mouth there. Still gonna keep moving forward. Okay, actually I might try and come around and get absolutely insane stuff here in the Masai Mara in Kenya. If you are watching along, please do use the hashtag SafariLive or the YouTube chat stream to communicate with us. Tell us what you think is going to happen here. It is anyone's game at the moment. The buffalo keeping the lions at bay, but they are being worn down, and the lions definitely not giving up the hunt. Being pushed into higher ground now. Buffalo has a nice position on the top there, looking down. Oh, that could have been a silly move, separating it from the other buffalo and allowing the lions to get in a better spot. The male seems just a bit timid in hunts. It does have a lot of scars from a past injury, and that may contribute to it being a little bit timid. So buffalo showing it that it does not want a bar of them, keeping them away right now. I can only see 3 of the lions. The male has just jumped out the back. It's always keeping its distance. Where have the other 2 gone? Wow. So things are settling, but this is definitely not over. I'm just wondering where these other 2 are. If they've come around the back, then they could be in a good position, but I'm not seeing any heads in the grass at the moment. So I'm just going to stay quiet for a little bit and let you listen to the snorts of this buffalo, the grunts, the calls. Very exciting stuff. two buffalo back together now. It looks like they're going to be on the run again. Are the Owinos going to keep up the chase? Yes, they are. Okay, so I can see the other two now. Okay, so they're not out of it. So, still not over. So we have 3 on the left of the buffalo and 2 on the right. Let's see these 2 here. Wow, this is deja vu, isn't it? The Owinos versus 2 buffaloes, 2 days in a row. We've been very lucky. It's been very interesting to follow along at this pride. And now, Butternut did show up without cubs today, but they were in hunting mode. They were on the move after they reunited, so there is potential that she could have stashed the cubs away, or the cub. I only saw her with 1 yesterday. After 4 days ago, there was 3. So, well, we can only really hope that they are okay and that she has stashed at least one of them away for this hunt. Well, it looks like it is settling down a bit. I still don't think it's over. Buffalo doing a very good job the last couple of days. Okay, so now we've got one of the lionesses walking away. I wonder if they're trying to get a better position or whether they have given up. So that's 3 failed hunts in a row I've seen. 2 buffalo and 1 warthog. As I said, they were hunting warthog earlier, but they didn't make a great attempt at it. Lioness is moving up where we saw those buffalo when they got that high ground. Mina Moo wants to know, how do the lions kill a large buffalo? Well, there is something called the kiss of death that is very effective. If they can get their mouths over the snouts and the mouths of the buffalo, they can actually stop their breathing and suffocate them that way. But you'll see also a lot of biting, a lot of tearing, going for those vital organs. So once they have the buffalo on the ground, that's when they can really start to punch in and make that kill. So the male lion moving off in the other direction too. Looks like they may have given up. So we can see that scar there just on its hip from a former injury, and that's why I was saying I think it's a bit timid. Okay, so we will wrap up this unscheduled broadcast, but we are going to stay with the Owino Pride to see if they do decide to make another hunt. They are looking very hungry and anything could happen. So if you do want to follow along with all the action, sign in on YouTube and go to SafariLive and you can watch along, interact with us using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. I hope to see you all in a few moments. Wow, it is all happening this morning. We are going to send you back down to South Africa where the action is continuing with some wild dogs.
Yes, it is all happening this morning. We've got wonderful wild dogs. How exciting is that? And of course, it's not the morning, it is the afternoon. The sun sets safari. So glad to have you guys on board with me. I am Trishala and I have Seb on camera with me. Yes, coming here from Djuma in South Africa. Now, you are up there with Pat and the Masai Mara. Lots of things happening this morning, this afternoon. I keep thinking it's the morning. But we have wonderful wild dogs. Now, these are the same ones that we had, or part of the same pack that we had this morning in this area, and this is the Mbali Investec breakaway pack as far as we know. Now we can only see a few individuals. I haven't seen them all, and what you are looking at right now is about there are about three guys just lying down in the grass there. Of course, it is hot. It's a blistering 33 degrees Celsius here in South Africa. I think it's about 91 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's really hot. The dogs think so too, and they've perched themselves on this nice patch of grass here. And it's really hard to see almost, but you can see that sort of artistic coat through the grass, which I love. Absolutely love. Gorgeous. Remember, this is a totally interactive safari. Oh, hello, you've lifted up your head. See? This guy would like you to please interact with us and use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or of course the YouTube chat stream. Always wonderful to hear from you guys. I'm hoping one of these guys actually get a kill and they can eat nicely, and maybe we'd be able to see it as well. Very, very cool. Yeah, everyone's happy to see the wild dogs again. I am absolutely happy to see the wild dogs. Since I've been back from leave, I haven't seen them. Hello. People are starting to get up a bit. Look at those huge ears listening around everything that's happening in the bush. Like I said, it's really, really hot, and they've positioned themselves in a really nice place where they've got a bit of water across the road. They're child of the universe. You'd like to know if they have hunted today? Well, Rusty had them earlier this morning, and they were not successful from what I understand. So I really hope that today, maybe once the sun goes down a little bit and it gets a little bit cooler, because that's what they need, that's what all these predators need. They need it to be slightly cooler, because in the day it's just way too hot to be able to expend your energy that way. These animals would just overheat. So they're waiting till it gets cooler, and then hopefully we'll be able to see them in action. That would be something. They have moved a little bit. They weren't completely flat in the grass. When we got here, they were under a nice guari bush in the shade, and they moved a little bit. They got a little bit startled by something. There was a loud sort of elephant scream. I don't know if you've ever heard that. If we catch it again, we'll definitely point it out to you, but it kind of goes, ooh! It does do that. Seb's laughing at me. It does. It's such a desperate scream, and that kind of, they picked their heads up and they ran around a little bit, and then they moved to another shady spot. So I really thought they were going to go on the hunt, but no, they were just a bit startled, and then they popped right back down. Very, very cool. Jess, you want to know if wild dogs bark like domestic dogs? No. The sound that they make is a really, really strange noise. I mean, obviously they whine like a dog does. You hear that kind of thing, and then you hear that the noise that they usually make, which is so sort of quintessential wild dog, and it goes moo, 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 moo. It sort of sounds like a siren going off. So that's how they communicate. Remember, animals don't only communicate with sound. They also communicate with smell and with touch, tactile communication. So they have all that going on as well. They will know exactly who's part of their group, their members, they know where they are. Very, very Very, very complex mammals are. Those big ears. Now you see them kind of turning, and a vehicle near us, and that just shows you how sensitive their ears can be. A vehicle near us turned on their engine, and the ears went poof, like satellite dishes, huge satellite dishes that kind of move around to listen. You see it with the kudu's ears as well. Very, very cool. So I will sit with them for a little longer. There are, of course, other people that want to join our sighting, so we'll see how much longer we can stay here. In the meantime, I'd like to send you over to Deirdre, a lovely, lovely lady, and she is a freelance guide for us. So let me introduce you to her.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Deirdre, and you've joined me here in Djuma Game Reserve, also still in the Kruger National Park. And we're on the hunt with cameraman Craig and Jamie, and we're on the hunt for Tingala, the great Duke of the North. We were fortunate enough to see him this morning at the Gwari Pan, which is just around the corner, so keep your eyes out, look for the spots. He was quite full, so he was quite lazy this morning. So we're going to see if we can catch up with him. He, as most of you know, and you regular viewers will definitely recognize, it's a new face on SafariLive. I have to admit that we both share a friend, a long-time friend, Stefan Winterboer. He's been nagging and nagging for me to come and join an interview drive for SafariLive for years. I have been resisting, but I have to tell you, Steph, well, you've won. Here I am. So this morning, we got here. Jamie suggested let's quickly check Gwari Pan for a leopard. We drove here, and as we stopped, we almost got out to look for tracks, and Tingala was lying right down here on the left-hand side of the vehicle, in the grass, fast asleep. He didn't even bother. He didn't even lift his head. He just lay there sleeping. And then what he did after that was he got up and he moved a little bit further down the road and he found another shady spot. So we're just going to carry on a little bit further and see if we are able to relocate him. Now, obviously most of you have started to see that the bush is still pretty thick at this time of the year, and because he's got such good camouflage, we're going to just drive nice and slowly so we don't drive right past him. And thanks everybody for all the welcomes. He's right here. He's here down on the left hand side. Oopsie. I did give him a bit of a surprise, so we're just going to let him settle. He's right next to us, so I'm going to just reverse. Let me know when you've got him. Oh, he's just hiding just behind this bush willow. No, he's going to go back. I can't even see his spots. He's trying to hide in the shade. I'm just going to give him a second. He's just going to come out. You might be able to see him now. There he comes. So that perfect camouflage that I was talking about, well, there we go. So I'm just going to reposition the vehicle so that you're able to get a better view. This is pretty much how we left him this morning, sleeping. He appeared to have eaten something last night because you can see he's got a nice fat belly, and with this heat he's also panting quite heavily. Which of the viewers think Tingala is their favorite leopard? So a little bit of a background about myself is a question from some of the regular viewers. I've been guiding for about 20 years. Started my career in the Kruger National Park as a very young 18-year-old safari guide, and then moved on to the Eastern Cape. I did sort of 3.5 years there, all within South Africa, then moved on to the Waterberg, and then to the Kruger for about 8 years. and then for the last 2.5 years pretty much spent time travelling on overland safari. So fortunate enough to have travelled right up through Africa, from South Africa, Cape Town, all the way up to Nairobi and Uganda. Oh, he's just sleeping so nicely there. So very unlikely for him to think about doing anything active this afternoon with a nice full belly like that. He's likely to just spend the afternoon sleeping. He's quite close to that pan, as you saw. So if he wants to drink some more water, that's as far as he's probably going to move. I always marvel at the size of their feet. Wow, I hear you got some action with Trishala, with the wild dogs. So enjoy that.
Tingana's feet are in fact huge, aren't they? He was such a pleasure to see this morning. You can see his nice big dewlap. So it was always nice to see him. I'm so glad that Deirdre found him so she can have something really nice for her first drive, which is cool. Anyway, I have, as you can see, left the wild dogs. There were other people that wanted to come in and watch as well, and then we said, let's come back later when they might be doing something. So we decided, let's go check out Gallego Pan. It's a nice hot day, like I said. Gallego Pan's a good place to maybe have a look. And then I will make my way further down, sort of to the south of the reserve. I think that's a good plan. See if what's happening at the hyena den. Always good value entertainment, I find, the hyena den. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Of course, you can also let me know what you want to see, or what you would like to see. Of course, nothing too crazy. That was our stop. If you'd like me to find you a pangolin, of course, you can let me know. And it could, yeah, you could let me know, but I doubt I'll be able to help you just yet. So here we are. So this road here is Gallego shortcut, and this will take us to Pan. And that's why I want to see if anything's having a drink. It's always nice to go to those sort of areas, especially when it's hot like this. But we have had a bit of rain, so there are a few little kind of puddles here and there, and what that does is disperses the water kind of around the reserve. And when you have that, you can't really rely on the big pans, because really an animal can access water in any little dip it finds. But it has been a bit drier lately, though it did rain a few nights ago. So let's try our luck. Now I have a request for... Yes, I knew it was a request for hornbills. Strangely, this morning when we were driving back from, we just kind of went out on a little drive with Jamie, Deirdre and myself, and on our way back, not even half a K from camp, there were 2 ground hornbills right outside there. And they're always a pleasure to look at. Always. Even to hear them is so cool. And can you see how thick the bush has gotten? I think it's very thick. I mean, you could, even with the ground hornbills, you could sort of just see them, because now the grass was the height that they were. But they have that obvious black plumage and the red, of course, underneath. So it was easy to see. We have the murderer, the aerial murderer. That's her up there. We have camera killers and aerial murderers on this property. Okay, let's see. Almost there, guys. Almost there. What do you think's gonna be there? I think there will be. To be honest, I don't think there'll be anything. But if there is something, it will be an antelope, I would think. Let's see. Wow, it is so thick that you can hardly even see the pan. Kirst, what do you think will be there? A dove. Kirst thinks a dove will be there. You know, you're probably very right, Kirsty. Very right. Look at how tall that grass is. You can barely see that pan. Well, always worth a look. Sometimes you just have a feeling and you just got to go with it. And if you don't try, as is with everything in life, you will never know, will you? So there's the pan farce. Cool. Let us head back out. Well, while I look for something special, Deirdre has got something very special for you. But of course, you know what that is.
Hi, we're still with Tingala. He's still sleeping, and I keep calling him Tingala, and I'll tell you why. I worked for a very long time on a reserve where we actually had a small little female leopard, and her name was Tingala. So it's 8 years of ingraining of a leopard name. And she actually got her name because the first time she became independent and left her mother, she stumbled upon some lion cubs and she actually killed them, which we were surprised that a leopard would kill a lion cub. And that's how she got the name Tingala, which means little lion. So no disrespect to Tingana, which means shy, which clearly he's not. He's definitely grown into a different leopard from being shy. So comparative to other leopards I've seen in my career, he's actually pretty good looking for his age. I believe he's around about 11, maybe almost 12. So he's got a lot of experience under his belt. A nice big territorial male, and I'm sure most of the viewers that have been watching him for a long time have seen a lot of his accomplishments. His mating with the females, his territorial markings, his hunting skills. I saw the clip from Tristan the other day where he went right into the warthog burrow hoping to find a warthog, but he was not so lucky. So as they get a little bit older, hunting sometimes becomes a little bit harder. Obviously they're getting pressure from potentially other territorial males wanting to move in. Maybe they're younger but stronger, so there may be a challenger on the horizon for him. So he may also start stealing some of the ladies' kills. Even I believe he steals from his own son sometimes. So I don't know if he necessarily stole the kill that he ate, because we haven't seen any evidence of any other leopards around, but he certainly got quite a full belly. Have any of the viewers got any questions about leopards? We're in the best spot to ask me that question, Lauren. My favourite animal is in fact a leopard, and probably because the first half of my career I worked in places where leopard were very, very scarce and very shy. So I didn't get to see them often. And then towards the latter half of the career, I spent time in a new reserve that didn't really have relaxed leopards at all. So we got to go from completely wild leopards to over years working with them that they eventually became very similar to Tingana, relaxed with the vehicles and viewed like this. But just the sheer beauty, those spots, just everything's just perfect. Look at those spots. So you use the spots on the top lip to tell them apart. Literally just the top row of spots will help you identify different leopards from different areas. You can also use the tattiness of the ears. Sometimes that's a distinct giveaway. But with male leopards, sometimes that becomes quite hard, especially if they've been fighting and they get some new nicks and notches in the ears. Then you may confuse them. But fortunately, when they're the size of Tingana and they own a very large territory, you're generally finding the same male in the same places and areas. Oh, wow. So now you're racking my brain here. I've got to go back quite far. Just been asked, sorry, I didn't get the name, but my favorite leopard sighting would probably have to be when a female introduced two tiny little fluffy cubs to us, and we were right next to them, and she brought them out and the two cubs started playing. It was just in a river line in a nice little drainage area, and those two cubs became also the stars of that particular property over time. Oh, okay. Now they're just flooding my head. I just keep remembering all sorts of sightings that I remember. You see them. One of them was stalking a scrub hare, and unfortunately the scrub hare wasn't so lucky and wasn't so alert, and got grabbed by also a young female leopard. And by the time she got hold of it and unfortunately dispatched it, she had to obviously pluck all the fur out, and it didn't really look like she actually enjoyed that meal for a while, because all she was doing was spitting the scrub hare fur out of her mouth before she actually got a bite to eat. Oh, shame. You can see the flies are bothering him a little bit. Every now and again his nose twitches and he gets his paw ready to swat them away, and his ears keep moving. Look at the size of those feet. You can see very, very nicely the claws sticking out. And for them, they sort of, they are retractable claws, but the leopards will obviously bring them out when they've stalked the prey and they jump on the prey to grab it. They'll use their claws to hold onto the prey, and particularly with hard prey, things like warthog, and then it helps them hold on to until they get the throat grip. But also with them, helps them climbing trees. So some of the trees here have very loose bark, and it allows them some nice grip, especially for a male leopard or a female carrying a nice heavy meal up the tree to hide it from the hyenas. So, question for the viewers in one tweet: which is your favorite leopard of the SafariLive shows? He's just snoozing. This is what you would call a Sunday afternoon snooze, everybody. The only thing he's not doing is snoring. Giraffe Girl is asking, why did I decide to become a guide? Well, I grew up on a farm, so I'd always had the opportunity to be outdoors with animals. Granted, they were farm animals. We had donkeys and ducks and geese and chickens. I even had a pet chicken. That was one of my first pets. And then when I was in high school, I decided to do some volunteer work in the zoo, which was also working with farmyard animals, which I was familiar with, and just the love of animals my entire life. So then working with those animals, I left that and I studied conservation, and I've been in the bush ever since. But this is like a dream career. I've just spent the last 6 months behind a desk being a desk jockey, and I definitely would rather be sitting on a Land Rover. Ooh, there's a kingfisher, a nice woodland kingfisher, just landed on the branches just above Tingala there. So it seems like the unanimous decision is Husana is the favorite leopard of the show. I have to admit I'm yet to see him, but I'm clearly looking forward to it when he comes back. So that's a woodland kingfisher. It's probably a little bit difficult with the light, but they have the most awesome call, that chit-chirr that you hear around about November in the bush. They've just migrated all the way from northern Africa, come down here, and spend the summer season here. So they're starting to think about moving back north. And what's interesting about them is that they actually end up going over an entire population of woodland kingfishers that hang around at the equator. So the woodland kingfishers in the Mara, these ones overlap him, and there off he goes. Probably also just coming in to have a good look at Tingana. He doesn't obviously feel threatened by a leopard because he can fly off, but you do sometimes get other birds that will alarm at leopards, particularly some of the franklins, like the crested franklin and the spurfowls, as well as even the grey go-away bird. They often have something to say if there's a leopard actively moving around in an area. They're just trying to give everybody else a warning to say, hey, there is a predator in the area. And as a guide, that's almost like a sound that you can't ignore. You have to go and have a look and see what the birds are telling you. If you're seeing his whiskers there, he's got such nice long whiskers. And for cats, that's a very, very important thing for them. Their whiskers help them from a sensory point of view. Okay, after having a look at his whiskers, we're going to send you across to Trishana to see what she's up to.
Whiskers, what beautiful whiskers he must have indeed. But I have something pretty too. You know, these African hoopoes, they like to follow me around. I've seen so many since I've been back. All about, even now there are about 4 on the road, and then this beautiful one perched on that branch. I think it looks so nice. That lovely long beak and that crest. Really, really cool. One of the understated birds, I think, because we see them so often that you kind of get spoilt, and then you forget how incredibly beautiful these birds are. And when you have good looks and a closer detail, and you can see the coloration on the wing, it's a stunning bird. And there you are, moving to the wind, swaying your branch, isn't it? Wind through the hair. Beautiful. And they're off for us. Well, I am on the road heading to the den, and Shane says this is your favorite bird. I'm glad to hear it, Shane. It is definitely one of my favorites. Like I've said to you guys before, it's very hard for me to choose favorites. It's one of the things I least like to do, is choose a favorite, because everything is my favorite. I know that's a bad thing, but it's true. I love everything. I just can't stop. Anyway, I am on the road to the hyena den, or almost on the road to the hyena den, so we will end up there very, very soon. So, let us drive on. Also, guys, please remember that the Wild Earth Expedition, the second one, will be open for bookings today after the Sunset Safari. And of course, you can find out any extra information you'd like, and to actually book after the Sunset Safari has finished. And you can go onto our website, which is wildearth.tv, and then /expeditions. And then you can read all about it, get an idea, and of course come and join us. We had an excellent time the last time that everyone was here. It was also really nice to meet you all and kind of get an idea of who are these people that watch us. And kind of, you know, we have a relationship now, so it's always nice to meet you guys. So please, please, book. We want it fully booked so we can meet as many of you as possible. Really nice. Sit down, have a nice dinner, get to chat. Really cool. So please do that once the safari closes, and go on to our website. Oh, I'm so glad it's starting to cool down a bit. Oh, it was hot earlier. It was really hot. Still so amazed at how big everything has gotten. When I was off-roading through, I can't remember when it was, one of these days recently, and the grass actually came to my knee where this door is open, just on my right. The grass was touching me, even though I'm in the car. It was that high. I must say, I do enjoy just sort of leisurely cruising through the bush. You see all the wonderful things. I mean, even the dead branches look beautiful. Even the dead branches. And so many trees. Excuse me. Now, we also had tracks of a female leopard, apparently was spotted this morning around this area as well. So, also keeping an eye out for that. But nothing so far. I also had wonderful elephants around this area. You can see there's, well, can't really see, but there's a few kind of little pans along the road here. So I'll often see elephants kind of play in it, slip in it, which is really nice. There you can have a look at the bush as we drive past. Look, it's like you're right here. How cool is that? I'll slow it down for you so you can actually see nicely. You can pass all the big trees. Beautiful, stunning. Love what I do. Anyway, I'm almost at the den. When I come back, we will be there and hopefully it'll be busy. In the meantime, let me send you over to Deirdre with that beautiful spotted cat.
So, Tingana, still a flat cat. And speaking about flat cats, I believe I've got to get in my little pets as well. So I don't have any cats, but we have 5 dogs at home. Most people that come from Johannesburg have the odd 1 or 2 dogs, and generally small dogs. But I'm going to show you the first one here, which is our very greedy lab, black lab. Her name is Bella, and as you can see, she's pretty much wishing that that popcorn will jump out of the popcorn pot. We do give her some every now and again, but shh, don't tell anybody. And then, oh wait, we've got more. We have another 4. So they all live happily together in the household. 3 Belgian Malinois and 1 special one in the middle that kind of thinks he's a wolf. So that's Sasha and Titan and Zeus and Duke. And yeah, believe me, when the postman goes past, we definitely know about it. And no doubt maybe they hear me on SafariLive and you'll get an interesting clip on the Safari hashtag SafariLive pets. So speaking of cats, I've been here for 2 days and had the very fortunate opportunity to spend some time out with Jamie when we were with Tlalamba. Unfortunately, she was in the rain. So she just finished her duiker kill that Tristan had seen in the morning. And she was out of the tree and she was on the ground, and then it started to rain. And if there is one thing that a cat hates, is getting wet. If we look on the western horizon, there seems to be some storm clouds brewing, but the good news is the wind is blowing them away from us. So I'm hoping that we're not going to get wet tonight on safari, because today we didn't put a roof on. What Tlalamba then decided to do was hide in the bushes. James is asking a question: am I a keen birder? Do I like birds? Very, very much, James. I wouldn't call myself a twitcher that I'll run around and spend time going to specific areas to find a specific bird, but certainly if I am in a new area, then I will try and find as many of the new birds as possible. Probably the one that's on my want list has to be a shoebill, and going to Uganda just weren't in the right places at the right times to have actually seen a shoebill, but plenty of favorites, but shoebill definitely top of the list. So that's an interesting, a lot of the birds at this time of the year, because we're heading into winter now, a lot of our migrants, like that woodland kingfisher that we were looking at earlier, are on their way to move. So I didn't catch the name there, but the question is, how large a meal can this cat eat? Well, a very good question, because what you'll find with very young leopards, when they're inexperienced, they'll often start with small things. So they'll try and catch squirrels, birds, anything that can stalk, anything small. And even like Talamba, which is that young female, she starts with small things. So she started with the duiker, and as she improves her hunting skills, she'll probably be better at catching impala, and that would probably be about the biggest for a female leopard. But one like Tingana, you'll find large waterbuck, even sometimes sub-adult kudu. They'll just eat a variety. For them, it's also what they're able to stalk up and catch. But in this area, probably the majority would swing towards feeding on impala. I'd love to know what he ate, because your average leopard, male leopard, probably weighing anywhere over 80 kilos. Tingana might even be a bit more than that, and he's certainly a few kilos heavier after his last meal. So this heavy panting is twofold. It's because he's got a full belly and he's in the heat. But good news is that the Mara, Pat, is ready to show you a thing or two in the Mara.
Wow, what an exciting start to that drive. I almost feel as if I need to redo my introduction, as I was so caught up in the action that I just kind of, everything went. My name is Patrick. Joining me on camera is Manu, and we are coming to you live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. If you have any questions or comments, please use the hashtag SafariLive. Let me know if you're feeling as I am after that. 2 buffalo hunts in 2 days. Unfortunately, both unsuccessful for the lions, but fortunately for the buffalo, and I'm sure many of you who like to see the prey get away, it was a good thing. So yeah, it kind of leaves that bittersweet taste in your mouth where one loses, one wins, but the Owinos are looking very hungry, and poor Butternut is not looking well. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there is something all over her neck. I thought it was big flies until they weren't moving. Then I thought it might have been massive ticks, but then we had a closer look, and it appears to be some big black welts all over her neck. So I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it doesn't look pleasant for the poor girl. And even further bad news, I did catch up with her yesterday, and she only had 1 cub with her. She was desperately trying to find the other ones. We followed her from tree to tree. She went back to that original den site where we first saw the 3 and just couldn't find it. It's them. So yeah, poor Butternut. And today as well, we didn't see her with a cub, but then again, they did go out hunting. So we caught up with them just when Butternut actually reunited with the rest of the Owino pride. But then after that, there was no cubs. So perhaps she has stashed them for the hunt. We can only really hope so, because otherwise that would mean it's gone from 3 cubs to no cubs. Whew. Anyway, what an exciting start to this drive, and Charlotte found wild dogs and our new guide. Everyone is concerned why I'm not wearing green. Well, actually, I am. It is Saint Me Day. I did so in all of the excitement, I forgot about that, but I don't actually have anything like proper green to bring out with me, so I do just have my khaki green jumper. And it is starting to get a little bit chilly, so I will pop it on for St. Patrick's Day. Yes, as I was saying, found Tengana as well, so very cracking start to the drive. Maybe if someone has a photo editor, they can edit this a little bit of a lighter, more St. Patrick-y shade of green. This is the only green attire that I had. Well, I did have also a green floral hat as well, but it's just probably not appropriate to wear on drive. So, unfortunately, this is all I have. But happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone around the world. I hope you are enjoying it. I am, of course, of Irish heritage, so we'll probably have a little celebration later on. So it seems like Trishala is trying to continue her luck this morning and checking out, this afternoon, and checking out the hyena den.
I definitely am trying to continue my luck. And I think my luck will even continue into the evening when we have a celebration for St. Patrick's Day as well. Yeah, nothing like after the drive to sit back and relax just a little bit. We really wanted to have a fire as well, but it is a bit warm. Hopefully it'll get a bit chilly and we can have a nice fire. So I am lucky, yes, I'm very lucky. I've had the wild dogs, and now I have these beautiful guys. You know how much I love them, absolutely love them. So we have Corky, that's at the entrance there, slumped over what she does best, you know. When she's not being a beast, she's the cutest thing on earth. And of course we have the two other cuties. Hello. I think these both are pretties, because we know that Plonk has the really dark spots, and he has two patches of white just on each side of his spine, and he also has that kind of a C on his thigh, and then I also think on the other side he has kind of a triangle without corners, if that makes sense. And so these two I'm pretty sure are pretties too. And we had a ribbon on the other side of the termite of the den. Oh, we're dozing off. We can barely keep our eyes open. Where's your friend Plonk? See the flinch of the ear, it's as if he heard me. Oh, just like a little baby. I'm sleepy, but I'm not gonna sleep. I'm not. What was that? What? Did I miss something? No. Sleep, puppet. Oh, did you fall over?
The other one fell down.
Oh. Now, I was asked if hyenas have territories. Was that play hell? I couldn't quite hear what that was. And they do. They have each clan has their own territory and the area that they will defend. Ah, playhouse. Playhouse. Very nice, like a theater. Yes, they do. They have territories that they will defend and areas that they will defend, especially areas where they have dens like this. So, for example, we were discussing it this morning with Jamie, actually, and we were talking about whether other hyenas, because the only hyenas that we've seen, or that we mostly see, are our Juma clan. And the Juma clan, they're not a huge amount of members, but for what their apparent territory kind of encompasses, it seems like it's a lot for a small amount of hyena. But then Jamie also told us that when there was an elephant carcass, then there were other hyenas that had come in as well. Obviously they were fighting and other sorts of things, but it's interesting. In fact, I was just thinking about it today, about the territories and exactly who else would come in and how would they come in. But so far I have just been lucky enough to be with our little Juma clan here. Everyone's sleepy. Look at those. Oh, there you can clearly see it. So when you see a hyena track, that's exactly what you're seeing. And I always love to see the actual paw because it gives you a good understanding of the shape and size of that track. So you can see that the back pad only has 2 lobes, whereas with a leopard or a lion you see the 3 lobes. And also if you think of your own hand, when you take paint and you pop it in the paint and you pop it on a piece of paper, then you also kind of have 2 lobes at the bottom by your wrists. That's cool. Very, very cute. Look at the legs crossed. Oh, yes, you are. You are a princess. Hey? Stunning. Anyway, sitting here for longer, of course, because these guys are just way too entertaining. Look at that. Roll around, roll around. In the meantime, let me send you up to the Masai Mara wooden pat.
Well, we were here with a front-on elephant, what appears to be a lone bull, but in a very rude turn of events, he has turned around and faced his bottom towards us. So he obviously must be a little bit camera shy. We just came across it grazing on the side of the road right now, and I thought, well, why not balance out the exciting start with a little bit of mellowness. Now, I did move off from the Owino Pride. We were just having a bit of signal and comms issues there, and they had also gone quite flat after their efforts. So I probably will circle back to them and just check in later, because there's one of 2 things that could happen. They may go back to hunt, and they also may, Butternut may also lead us to her cub again if she has stashed it. But right now, I'm held up in a bit of a roadblock. It's the best roadblock to be in, though. Oh, we can see a little bit of dribble coming out of the appendage there. Hey, showing us a little bit of attitude. Look at that, those eyes. The other day when we had that, well, yesterday morning was, it was yesterday morning. I've had so many cool sightings lately. Tweety saying his love his wrinkles. Yes, the wrinkles are great around that eye. And yesterday morning when we had a very close-up encounter with those elephants, I was just staring into the eye, and it was almost seemed like it was staring right back at me. One was actually giving me a little bit of attitude, but then I just sat there and looked at it, and I am definitely making this up. I'm sure this wasn't actually the case, but it nodded at me and then walked off calmly. So it was almost as if it checked me out and then just gave me a nod to say, hey, you're all right, mate, keep moving. But I don't think that was the case. I think I'm just humanising the elephants. But what a nice little sighting there. It's always good to have Ellie's thrown into the mix. There's been quite a lot of ground birds on this road as well. We just went past a whole heap of guinea fowl, and there was a red-necked spurfowl just down here, but has disappeared into the grass. I was going to show you, but gone. But yeah, so, and then a Coqui Franklin as well. So lots of ground birds around this afternoon. All right, well, I think we are going to head up north and potentially try to find cheetah cubs. Not making any promises, but that is the plan. In the meantime, let's go back down to South Africa and see what is going on down there.
So we're here with Scuba Steve and Snorkel Sarah, and a funny thing's just happened. Those 2 Egyptian geese, they were paddling their little legs, swimming, and they swam straight towards the hippos, and the hippos submerged. And when the two geese got to the middle, the two hippos popped up, and it was a rather scary moment for the two Egyptian geese. They seem to have moved off a little bit, and they're sort of waiting for their heart palpitations to get back to a normal rate. And then they'll probably carry on swimming. But it was a rather silly thing for them to do, and they could see that the hippos were there, and they just swam straight towards them. So Steve and Sarah are two resident hippos at the Buffelshoek Dam, a male and a female. So the male, bigger one of the two, and then the female. So it looks like Steve on the left, Sarah on the right. We call them snorkel and scuba because they spend so much time under the water. So when a hippo decides that he wants to submerge himself, he's got the capabilities to spend at least about 6 minutes underneath the water. And if they want to move, they generally then walk across the bottom. But where they are now, they're not floating, they're standing where they are. So all they have to do is just lift their head up, open their nostrils, take in a nice deep breath, and then they can put their head down again. It's been quite a warm day, so that's why they're still in the water. When it starts, when the sun goes down and it starts getting a little bit cooler, that's when they'll think about moving on to go and find some grass, walking out the water at night. For you bird lovers out there, we've got also a blacksmith lapwing to the right on the edge of the water. I've just heard that there's a question coming. I'm waiting for it. So, what is the gestation period of the hippo? Someone from the universe. Child from the universe. Apologies, I've still got to get all those handles. So the gestation period of hippo, quite interestingly, is actually only 8 months. And you would think, wow, why so short for an animal so large? Because you compare them to an animal relatively the same size, like a rhino, a female white rhino about 16 months, and a hippo only 8 months. But the development of the calf is pretty quick because they have the comfort of being in the water. So that sort of the buoyancy of the water, the calf is quite small. It is very tiny when it comes out, only weighing a couple of kilos. When she gives birth, what she'll do is she will give birth in the water, generally close to the shallows, to the edge, where she's able to push the calf to the edge of the water so that it can take its first breath. And at that point, she'll be extremely protective of that young calf. She doesn't allow any of the other hippos too close by, and she even wouldn't allow even other animals or people to approach her. That would be when they would get really, really aggressive. And then if she needs to take it to deeper water, obviously the calf is tiny, so it almost sinks to the bottom. It almost has to bounce off the bottom to come up to take a breath of air. Sometimes in the day, you'll actually find a hippo calf lying on the back of the mother so that it can stay in the safety and the security of the deeper water, but it doesn't have to struggle so much to bob up and down in the water. So that would always be a hope that we have a baby hippo out of these two in the near future. So another tall animal that has a very long gestation period would be a giraffe, and Pat's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Yes, very long gestation period indeed does the Maasai giraffe, Giraffa tippleskirtchi. So yet another big mammal along this drive, something intimate and close up again. So it's been a very cool little experience so far. Now these ones are being absolutely harassed by some oxpeckers. You can see them on this one's neck here, but there was another one whose neck was absolutely thick with them, and it was shaking its head around, running about. The poor thing, it just looked absolutely devastated. It was swarmed by these little fellas. See, going about their business there. It looks like they are picking something off the giraffe. I can only assume it ticks. But they also may be going for the blood underneath the ticks as well. Giraffe girl is very happy with me right now. Yes, I think every time I find giraffes now, Giraffe girl, it can just be dedicated to you, because I always come across them by chance. Whenever I say I'm going to find one for you, I always end up, well, sometimes I find them, but other times I haven't been able to show them because of infrared range and all of that jazz. So yes, every time I find giraffes now, Giraffe girl, you can be sure that it is for you. These poor giraffe though. Oxpeckers all over them. I could only imagine that would be quite annoying. And this definitely was for the other one. So we're actually surrounded by them. We don't only have them on the right here, there is many on the left as well. So they are all around the road. I mean, not the road, all on the side of the road right now. It's nice to soak in the peace of the Mara after seeing a couple of hunts over the last couple of days. It's been very exciting stuff actually, following these Awinos around. I've really grown to love them and really starting to get to know them. Anyway, continuing on. So Manu was telling me that there is a cheetah cubs stashed somewhere, and we are going to go and just have a look around and see if we can actually find them, because whew, wouldn't that be something? It's definitely something I didn't think I don't think I would ever have seen. So if we could find them, I would be over the moon. But there is also plenty to see along the way. Well, I will continue on my search for cubs, but it sounds like Trishala's search for cubs is already complete, and she has some cute little hyenas to show you.
Speaking of cubs, these two tiny ones came out of the den. Just really, really cute. Look at them. I think these are June's too. Pretty's two have scampered off with Corky. She started to call. I think she was calling for Plonk. You often hear that. And then she does that when she wants to call for him. And even she does it into the den, and then that's when all the cubs come out. So I think that she's going to look for Plonk, or at least she's calling Plonk, and then she had his two little friends in tow. Now Ribbon is on the other side. I don't know if these two will go down to her. One seems to be trying, but this one is a little bit curious. And I love when they're really tiny and they have these lines on their head and their forehead, and their eyes look so cute. It's just totally innocent. Oh, so sweet. Earlier they got a bit of a fright, and thought, what are they responding to? And then we saw a big elephant bull walk past on the other side of the den. He was not interested in this area at all, but the cubs freaked out. Everyone says how cute. I think they are stunning. Absolutely stunning. And those whole ears, untatted, just too cute. Like little bears. Sniff, sniff, sniff. I need to learn. Speaking of elephants, we had lots of sort of trees pushed over around here, and bits of dug out land, and we thought, geez, if when the elephants come around here, if they've been here when the cubs are out, they would have had such a scare. I would love to see what a cub would do if it sees a big elephant. Viewers, you guys are asking if these are June's or Ribbon's cubs. You know, I was actually thinking the same thing. I haven't seen Ribbon's cubs yet. And you know that they came out as she joined at the den when I was on leave. And now, when I look at these two, one definitely looks younger or darker than the other. But then also, you know, coats change and the spots coming in at different times, so I can't be sure. Now we do know that Ribbon is on the other side, but the cubs haven't gone to her, so maybe these are June's cubs, and we'll soon see. I mean, if they go to Ribbon and they suckle, then we'll know for sure that they're Ribbon's cubs, or if June comes and joins us, then we'll know. But since I've been back, I haven't seen Ribbons. I've only seen Pretty's two, Plonk, of course, and then June's two. If you guys know and you've taken pictures of these cubs and you know their spots, then let me know, because I would love to know exactly who's who in this zoo. Use that hashtag SafariLive. Please let me know. How was that side glance? That's so cute because it's similar. He's sitting similarly to how Corky was sort of on that. Michael, you say that these are June's cubs? I did suspect so. I think Ribbon's cubs would be smaller and darker. So I would suspect so. Hey, you two, growing up so fast. All the ears listening around to the bush. What's got your attention? It's nice and cool now, so that's probably why Corky's moved off. Maybe she's taken the two little ones with her, or I say taken, but they could have just followed her, and she didn't have enough in her to shoo them enough. But maybe they will bring back Plonk, and she will carry on hunting. It's a nice time of day. It's cooler. I think I might move around to where Ribbon was and just have a look at her too. Janet, you'd like to know if I think that these cubs are thin or if they look like they haven't been fed well. I kind of know what you mean. I know what you mean. They look a bit gangly, or you know, they do look a bit gangly, but I wonder if that's just the phase of growth that they're in, because you'll find that the legs will grow and then the rest of the body kind of needs to catch up. The ears will grow, legs will grow, and they look a bit disproportionate. So we'll see, or have a better look. But I don't think they're too bad, to be honest. And when did we see June last? I definitely saw her at the den the last time I was here. And she would have fed them. No, I think you're okay, little one. I think you're okay. Okay, they've moved over to the other side. Let's see. Ribbon is there. Let's go visit her. In the meantime, let me send you over to Deirdre, who is doing something we do a lot.
So I believe there's quite a few questions and answers expected, so fire away. Wow. So Magic Dragon is asking, what is my favorite place to guide? I'd probably say the Kruger National Park, and that's based on being one of the largest areas in South Africa to guide in. And basically when I started my career as a guide, I was very young, as I said earlier. I was 18. I was driving a big safari vehicle for like 20 people. So we didn't really get out the vehicle or do anything. But over the years, to be able to be in foot in one of these last big wilderness areas of South Africa has been really, really awesome. And the best part about guiding is the fact that every day is different. You just never know what you're going to get next. Question from Bob. Have I seen mountain gorillas? I have in fact seen mountain gorillas. It was a lifetime dream to go and see them. So last year up in Uganda in the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, very fortunate enough to go. And if anyone is ever thinking about doing gorillas, do it. It's a must. It's the most incredible, you only get an hour, but it is the most incredible hour that you get to spend with them. We were so fortunate. We had a troop of about 20, one large silverback, a variety of infants from 9 months old all the way up to adult females. And just the sheer interaction. I couldn't believe that an animal so large we could see so close that was relatively undisturbed by our presence. They just did their thing. And towards the end of the hour, they landed up in a nice open clearing, and we had 14 gorillas in an open clearing. And the big silverback was in the middle. He pulled over a large stump, and they were picking with their fingers in that rotting stump for all the grubs and the larvae. So absolute must, Bob. If it's on your bucket list, do it. So the next question, sorry I didn't get the handle there, but do I enjoy bushwalks and trekking? Absolutely. And if all goes well, I'll be joining Jamie on a bushwalk tomorrow morning. So we'll absolutely see what type of tracks we can find. We have been looking for some this afternoon. We've actually just found a very interesting thing at one of the mud pans, is a random egg that was just deposited on the side of the pan. And there wasn't too much evidence around to suggest who left it there. But certainly a nice parcel for the next monitor lizard that comes along. We might be lucky. We're heading into a view into the west. Spartial clouds might be a very nice sunset this evening. Just have a look at those clouds, and while we do, oh, there's a little bit of a rainbow on the left. And while we do that, you can head on to Tishala with with the hyenas.
I'm sure it will be a beautiful sunset this afternoon. This morning was one of the most stunning sunrises I've ever seen. There was huge layers of mist, and then the sun popped out like a golden ball from behind them. It was stunning. Much like you, Ribbon. Yes? It's a sleepy day here at the hyena den. Everyone's just kind of trying to keep their eyes open. Hey. Can you see all these depressions they've created? Even she's sitting in one. Oh. What was that? You saw the moment of collapse. Bumblebee, you'd like to know if there are albino hyenas. The possibility exists, I'm sure, but I would think it's more likely that someone would see a leucistic hyena, and I know that Brent saw a leucistic hyena in the Mara, so that would be really, really interesting. In fact, it would be great to see a picture of that, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Pretty's bigger cub looks really, really pale, so it'd be interesting to know if maybe that could be a leucistic cub, though everything else is fairly dark. Eyes are still very dark, so I don't think so, but I think that would be really cool, and I'd really like to see a leucistic hyena. Imagine an albino hyena, though, white. Imagine a white hyena. It'd look like a spotty, wolfy thing. Very cute, I think. Maybe with blue eyes. Like husky. That would be nice. But no, not here in Djuma. Definitely not here in Djuma. But Brent was lucky enough in the Mara to see that. As I'm sure you all know, those type of traits, being an albino or leucistic or melanistic, you are still the exact same species. It just means that you are carrying the recessive gene for basically increasing your production of melanin or inhibiting it in some way. That's how you have white lions. They are leucistic lions. There's lots of animals I'd like to see that would be leucistic. Do you know any leucistic hyenas, Dribbin? Is that a no? I think, something like a ground hornbill? Child of the universe, you'd like to know when the last time I saw a hyena that was not part of the Djuma clan was. Well, like we were discussing earlier, I have only seen Djuma clan hyenas. I've not seen anyone that is from outside sort of the clan. And from what we know, hyena territories, especially or specifically to the Kruger, can be about 150 kilometers squared. So that is a big space, and I think that's something that's more appropriate for a bigger clan. So I don't think that this clan occupies that kind of space. I really don't think so. But that being said, I haven't seen other hyenas around, or members of other clans around. Like I said, Jamie has seen it when there was an elephant carcass not too far from here, but I'm not sure even when that was. It must have been a while ago. Oh, cubbies, where have you gone? I thought they were going to go fetch Plonk, but it's really bad to make promises that you may not keep, but I have faith in Pat. He says that he promises. So let's go over to him and see what he promises to give you this drive.
I did not promise. I specifically said, as soon as I said I was looking for cheetah cubs, that I'm not making any promises. But anyway, so we are in the area now. I've been told to keep my eyes out from anywhere here on out. So I will be searching a lot while I am talking. So you may not get all the eye contact in the world, but I do have 2 extra pairs of eyes with me, Manu and our Askari on the back. So all is well. We have plenty to look for. So, wouldn't cheetah cubs be unreal to see? I don't think I've actually even seen a video or a picture of them. So, to see them in the flesh would be unreal, but I'm not going to hype things up too much just yet. Let's slow down and have a bit more of a scan. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of anything around here, which may make sighting an animal a little bit easier. The grass is a little bit shorter around here, but still a cub could easily hide away in here. So speaking of cheetah, Busara finally got herself a kill. I'm sure you all have heard that. I was very happy to hear that myself. Christy, what is my favourite baby animal to see? Well, I very much love lion cubs. Yeah, I think lion cubs. I mean puppies. I also love puppies as well. They're hard to knock. What other baby animals have I seen that have been absolutely cute? I think I saw a baby, yes, it was baby jaguar in Costa Rica in one of the rehabilitation centres I went to. That was super cute. So that was definitely up there as well. But I think all babies are quite cute. Now, everybody, just bear with me. We're just going to have a chat to this ranger and see if he has any information on these cheetah cubs. So just hang on 1 second. Jumbo, all right. Well, I'm going to link you to Deidre while I have this chat. How's it going?
So, look what I found. 2 little Easter bunnies. It is a little bit early for Easter, but they're also out early. This is 2 scrub hare, which is quite strange. You normally see them when the lights have gone down, but they've obviously decided that they're coming out early to get a quick bite to eat. Who knows, they may even be on a date. So, oh, a good stretch there. He's just warming up his legs there in case any predator like Tlalamba comes along, because that's his defense, is his speed. So very long legs, and that's the big difference between hares and rabbits. Rabbits generally tend to have pretty short legs, and hares have nice long legs for running. So you can see both of them just nibbling away there at the fresh grasses or the nice grass shoots. There's been recently good rains, so they'll be eating the nice little fresh shoots that come out. Also having a look at their very large pink ears, and that helps them, just like elephants have got large ears, that helps them thermoregulate. So they'll actually use a very thin membrane, and if you look closely you can see even the blood vessels in the ears. And of course their ears are for hearing. They need to be able to hear if there's any predators sneaking up on them. It's also very nice to see 2 of them. You don't often get that. Sometimes a scrub hare is literally a flash across the road and they disappear. You also notice a big white ring around the eye, and that'll aid them in moving around in the dark. So if any of the available light will reflect on that white around the eye, and it'll actually enhance what they're seeing. The one obviously didn't like the other one being in the way and stealing his grass patch. So we're going to move on, and we're going to just keep on making our way back towards Tingana to see if he's doing anything else other than sleeping. But we have a little bit of a ways to go, so we're going to carry on and see what's there. It sounded like Carrie is asking the question of, do I have a least favourite animal? Wow. I would probably say a snake, and the only reason I would say a snake is I had an altercation once, and it was a spitting cobra that decided it didn't like me and spat me in my eye. So me and that particular individual snake have a bit of a beef. But otherwise, snakes in general, I do respect them, but that particular one, definitely not. So we, as it's getting a little bit cooler, we're actually hoping that Tingana is actually going to do some movement, maybe some grooming. He might be stretching. He might think if he actually still has some remains of a kill, he might decide to make his way back to that kill. Who knows? Cross your fingers. Maybe we get to see that. He definitely hasn't been anywhere further than the pan for the whole day. But one never knows. So, I Love Snacks is asking if I went blind temporarily after the cobra. I was very fortunate in that because I'd done quite a lot of training, I knew that the first thing to do after I'd been spat in the eyes was to rinse my eyes as much as possible. So I spent about 20 minutes literally with my eyes being forced open under a water bath. Not a pleasant experience, but then again, the venom in your eye is not a pleasant experience either. So the importance was just to flush it out. And then very, very strong eye drops with some steroids in them definitely did the job. And a little bit light sensitive for a day or two, but then otherwise right as rain. I was also fortunate in that I didn't get a full blow of venom to the eyes. It was just it was like a slow-mo. I saw it coming, and as I turned my head, it got more in the left eye than the right eye. But a scary thing nonetheless. You do have lots of thoughts that run through your head at that time. It was pretty close. It could have even bitten me as well. So yeah, you got your heart palpitations going. You've got some serious stress, and especially because you're living out in the bush in the middle of nowhere, you are quite far from severe, like proper medical attention. So it would have been a pretty interesting experience had it actually bitten me. But as I say, lucky to be here today. So we're not finding too much at the moment, so I believe Trish has a herd of elephants.
Yes, we had a small roadblock, and now they've moved off, and exactly where we wanted them to be. Look at this wonderful herd. There's nothing better than seeing elephants playing around in the water. Oh, let's just watch. Now look at the baby on the edge. Can you see that it's down on the knees, and you can see the wet trunk? Because he's actually drinking with his mouth. So they're way down. There we go, there we go. It reminds me of a moustache of soft drink you have as a child. Oh, I am loving the elephants. Tess says I'm having the luck with the elephants lately. I have to agree. And I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. Look at this baby. Down on the elbow. Oh, trunks come up. Now look at the comparison. You can see the adult next to the baby, big cow. Look at the way that she's drinking and using her trunk, and the way that she has complete control. baby who's got little to no control. That trunk getting in your way, that's what it looks like. It's got a mask now. So cute. Even just, you know, the shape yes, exactly that. The shape of the trunk going into the mouth once they've, or as they're drinking, is just so beautiful. I love that shape. Now this is actually a nice kind of way to see this. You can see the whole herd is moving off. And in front, there are a few big cows there. And what will usually happen is, as the herd moves, the matriarch or one of the bigger cows will take the front, and then one of the other bigger ones will take the backs, and all the smaller, more vulnerable individuals are in the middle between them. Look at that. Beautiful. Now just listen, you can hear them walking through, just listen. You can also hear the bearded woodpecker doing his territorial drum. There we go. What a lovely, spectacular scene. I just love it. Absolutely just love it. You can just sit here and watch. You don't even have to say anything. They just speak for themselves. Absolutely stunning. Well, they are moving off, so I think I will do the same. Cruise around some more and see what we can find. Now, I heard that the wild dogs may have crossed, so we're going to check that out. In the meantime, let me send you over to Pat in the Masai Mara.
Well, I'm playing a little bit of follow the leader here. We came across this black-backed jackal in front of me, and it was sniffing at some dung in the road, and I got very close to it, and it just didn't seem to want to move, and then it finally did move, and then stopped again, and pretty much ever since it's just been jogging along in front of us, just not wanting to move. I'm not sure what its plan is here, but it's, yeah, leading us on a bit of a journey, this little caniform. Where are you taking me? Are you taking me to the cheetah cubs? Kirsten seems to think that this one is going to lead me to the cheetah cubs. I did get a bit of an update from the rangers, so I'm just turning back around to go to where they said it was seen this morning. I thought they told me that they haven't seen it in a long time, but they were saying that they haven't seen me in a long time because they thought I was one of our old SafariLive presenters, Scotty D. That's not actually the first time that's happened, funnily enough, as well. But still, it's all right. He's moved. Thanks, mate. I know. What's your plans here? Sorry, I'm just going to move my head. What are your motives? Don't come closer. Alright. Every time I think it's going to move, it just comes back out in front of me. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Quite a cool little animal, the black-backed jackal. They have actually remained unchanged, well, virtually unchanged in 2.5 million years. So that actually is a testament to their success as a species. It's a very long time. So I'm just backtracking. There was a different path I was told to take. Apparently they were seen under a tree this morning. Now, I have to confess, I do not know a whole heap about cheetah cubs, so I'm not sure whether they will have moved off from this morning or not, but it is worth going to check, I definitely think. So just bear with me 1 second. So was it left? Yeah. It's great having some rangers out here who are very nice people, always happy to help out. We always share our tips with each other and locations of animals. It helps, well, it helps benefit both of us really, which is good. It's always good to have good relationships out here with everyone. And it's not hard to do. Everyone is so lovely in the Masai Mara. It's so nice. Shawl wants to know if I could be an animal, what animal would I be? I reckon I'd be an octopus. I think living the life of, maybe actually if octopus had a longer longevity, I would definitely say so. Most cephalopods don't live to be older than 1 or 2 years, but geez, it would be cool to be an octopus. They can do so much and they can fit in such small spaces, change their colour, change their size. So yeah, I'd probably say an octopus. And now also, I forgot to add baby elephants in the question I was asked earlier about my favourite baby animals. Elephants as well. I don't know how I went over that. Yeah, they are just the best. The best. But yeah, being an octopus would be unreal, I reckon. They are very clever, very intelligent. Cephalopods do have 2 hemispheres to their brains, just like humans, which is pretty cool. And 3 hearts. Well, at least in squid, there are 3 hearts. I feel like I'm back on Dive Live right now. For anyone who doesn't know, I did used to present for our sister show called Dive Live, which was the same concept as SafariLive, except underwater. And it was very, very cool. So I'm just keeping an eye on all of these trees, hoping to see a little cubby face. I hope you're all enjoying your drive with Deidre as well today. Monica wants to be a fish eagle so she can fly all day. So, sorry, I'm just getting directions here from Manu. Yes, being a fish eagle would be great, or any type of bird, especially I would think that soaring at the thermals would be great. It would be so much fun to soar amongst thermals. So yes, I could definitely see why you would get that answer. I would also like to be a dolphin as well, because dolphins are obviously highly intelligent, highly social creatures, and they have the most fun out in the ocean. I have been out in waves with dolphins also surfing the waves with me. So yeah, being able to be a dolphin and still have the ability to surf would be sick as well. No, excuse my colloquialism there, it would be great as well. So there's some tracks here. Let's link to Dear Dre. I do apologise for that. Dear Dre, not Deirdre. I'm sorry, but let's link to you.
So while Pat's still searching his heart out, I hear Pat would like to be an octopus. Well, I certainly on a day like today could do with an octopus, having 8 arms to go in all different directions, 1 to drive, 1 to change gears, 1 to look at the camera, 1 to hold the spotlight later. It's certainly 1 to operate the radio. It certainly is. What animal would I like to be? Well, I'm thinking an eagle. And the only reason I say an eagle is because maybe you could travel places. You could visit different areas and clock up some frequent flying miles. Maybe a migratory one as well, like a steppe eagle. You could really have the best of both worlds. summer in 2 different hemispheres. I think that that's not a bad plan. We're still on our way to Tingana. We are nearly there. Looks like we're going to be in for an awesome sunset, so definitely stick around for that. Mina Moo is asking, do I have a favorite bird of prey? Well, I'd have to say a secretary bird. Probably more likely to see them up at the Mara with Pat. Maybe he can show you one in the next day or so. But secretary bird, just for that beautiful plume of feathers that come out of the back of the head, that beautiful red coloration around the eye, and then also their hunting habits. I did happen to see a secretary bird hunting once. It was stalking through the grass, waiting to flush things, and it happened to flush a grasshopper. And of course they run on over, and he tried once to stomp it, but he missed, and the grasshopper flew again, and he looks like a rather funny chicken running, chasing after this grasshopper, and the second time it landed, he made sure of his aim, and he stomped it one shot, and that was his breakfast. So definitely a secretary bird would be one of my favorite raptors. Mina Moo, what would be yours? If you can answer me on hashtag SafariLive or in the comment column. Oh, with the almost 10,000 birds in the world, it is really a difficult choice to pick a favorite. But yeah. Other reason for being an eagle is just they have such phenomenal eyesight. So you could be flying high up and see awesome things. So I didn't get the question there. I heard it was about long eyelashes, but I'm not 100% sure what. There's lots of birds with long eyelashes. It was the ground hornbills have got long eyelashes. From Pam, would like to see a southern ground hornbill. Funny story, this morning we were driving along and we saw some birds and we stopped, we had a look at birds and somebody made a comment, oh, birds, you can move on. So the very next thing we see is 2 ground hornbills this morning that actually did fly up. So they're here, so stay tuned. Maybe we'll get them on safari, probably more in the morning. There's a chance to see them. And as they flew off, I quite cheekily said to the guy, oh, don't worry about those, we can move on. Of course I was joking. Ground hornbills being very rare and endangered are certainly a species that you'd want to stop and have a good look at. There's so few of them. I do know that that is a big tick for quite a few people. So we're about to head in and have a look at Tingana. He seems to be in the same place. But before we get there, you're going to head across to Trishala, that has a beautiful sunset.
I have a stunning, stunning sunset this afternoon. Look at that. Just between those branches of that dead knobthorn. Stunning. There is really nothing like the African sunset or the African sunrise. It's so intense. It's like you're here, guys. Stunning. And there's the mountains behind the sunset as well. Oh, look at the silver lining on the clouds even, and look at those mountains. So, so nice. Those are the Drakensberg Mountains, or part of the Drakensberg Mountains, which is the biggest mountain range here in South Africa. And it extends from KwaZulu-Natal which is where I'm from, all the way up here. So this is the northern section. The section I'm used to is the southern section. Really, really nice. When you think about things like, you know, to go home, for me, feels like so many hours of traveling. Like to drive would be 11 hours or something like that. And look at these mountains. They can stretch all this way in no time. Well, I heard from a little birdie that there's a surprise for you waiting up in the Masai Mara with Patrick. So let me not waste your time and send you right over.
Look what I found! I can't even... I'm sorry, everyone. I'm lost for words right now. We found them. We found them. So we got 2 cheetah here and 1 cub that we can see in the grass. So I just want to, you know, keep it at solid distance, but I still wouldn't mind. Should I move, do you think? Yeah, all right. I'm just going to creep around. Just... Oh. Yes! Oh. This is great. There it is. Oh. So we did just see these 2 cheetahs sitting up out of the grass. Wow, they led us right. We were actually led by the black-backed jackal. I'll just move around a little bit further so we can get a better view. So it's just a bit difficult in this long grass, and I don't want to get too close either. Oh. Honestly, I wasn't expecting us to find them. Well, yeah, I mean, I was obviously hoping, but I didn't actually fully expect this. What a day it has been. Oh, is that good? Yeah. So there's actually a couple of black-backed jackals. Oh, cheetahs, yep, chasing it off, being defensive there. They are actually, they maybe want the cubs for themselves. So it's really hard to get an angle here. I do apologise. We can see the bit of defence there, though, against those black-backed jackals. They were actually kind of helped us find the cheetah. Even still, just finding cheetahs is just great. Jeez, I've been lucky this drive. Completely lucky. I'm sure we all heard that. It'd be the barking from the jackals there. Surely there's about 4 jackals in the grass. I think they might want to take this. I think they were trying to get the cubs. But a bit of parental effort there. Very good. Kept them away.
There's a carcass there. There's a carcass.
There's a carcass. Ah, okay. Ah, so they have a carcass with them. So that's what the jackals are after. I see, yep. Ah, very good. So these cheetah have made a kill. Still here. I'm just going to stay quiet for a second. The jackals are still making some noise. So now I'm starting to think if the cubs are actually here. I'm sure we saw a smaller face in the grass.
That's a cub on the left. Yeah.
There is a cub on the left?
And it's
Okay.
sub-adult.
Yeah. Oh, sub-adult. Okay. So, very cool sighting here. Carcass, some cheetah, and some jackals looking to come in and take what I can't actually see. I could only assume it would be a Thompson's gazelle or some small antelope that they have, but as I said, this tall grass is making it a bit difficult. Just move around a little bit further, see if we can get a better angle. So I was expecting cubs, but it's actually just a sub-adult. How's that? Good? Cool. So this one is really chowing down here. Now, I'm not sure as to the identification of these cheetahs. Obviously, this one here is a relatively new one. And I can just see the back of the mother's head right now. So I can't really, if anyone could ID that, they would be awesome. Well, it seems like I'm not the only one who has found spotted cats. It seems like Deidre is having an awesome drive and has found herself a rosetted cat.
See, I'm not the only one that's found spotted cats. He has just got up. We are with him at exactly the right time, as I predicted earlier, heading to the waterhole. We're just going to wait for him to move past, and then what we're going to do is probably see him drinking. And he was alert because there were francolins alarming in the bush earlier, which might well mean that there's potentially a hyena or something else that chooses. He might still have a kill somewhere, and they might have seen the predator. So I know this is going to be. I'm just going to reverse because the pan is just behind us. Jamie's going to let me know if Tingana's too close. I can just see his spots through the back of the vehicle. So this is going to be awesome. So one very thirsty cat with a gorgeous sunset in the background. And there he is. So as you watch, they don't drink water like we do. You actually see they lap it up. So they're literally almost sticking their tongue in and then bringing it up and catching the water. His belly is so full and he's been eating. They'll drink more than normal. They obviously get water from the or from the prey that he's eaten, but water also aid with the process of digestion. So we'll sit with him now. I think maybe you can get that in audio because very often you can hear that lapping. Just imagine if you choose to come onto the Wild Earth expeditions, you could be sitting right in this position right now next to the sunset with Tingana drinking water, just like that. So at the end of the show, have a look at wildearth.tv/expeditions and book your space now. Seats are selling fast. He is a thirsty boy. actually see just by the way he's sitting, you can see those strong muscles in the shoulders and in the arms, even in the hind legs. And you can actually see how thick his neck is. And being a big male leopard, it allows him to take relatively large prey up a tree. Tingana wouldn't worry too much about scrub hare. They're probably too small for him. He prefers to eat much larger prey. And sometimes it's effort versus reward that they have to consider. How much do you think he's been drinking? Faye's asking the question, can animals get sick from drinking dirty water? They can, particularly in the dry season, especially if the water levels have got very, very low and there's certain levels of bacteria, like a blue-green algae and cyanobacteria. They can get sick from that. But fortunately for a lot of the predators, they actually have very, very strong stomach acids. So that'll actually aid in possibly killing off some of that bacteria. I've even seen leopards in the desperation of the dry season drinking out of the smallest, muddiest footprint puddle, and you go with what you've got. Here he's about to move. You see his old limp has resurrected itself, and it may come from having to quickly move up a tree. Maybe he was chased by a hyena and he had to hoist his kill a lot faster than he was comfortable with, and maybe it's just a little bit inflamed, but as we said earlier, he is getting on a bit, and that's one of his things. He's probably going to go right, well, hopefully not under the car, but probably right to underneath Craig. He's going to pop out, yep, right behind us on the other side. So he's possibly going to scent mark. There he starts, just scratching his back feet, and then little jets of urine will come out while he's leaving his scent behind. For the male leopards, because it was raining quite a lot yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning should I say, marking their territory is pretty much first and foremost on their list of things to do, because the rain's washed away all their scent marking. What a beautiful cat. Definitely why they're one of my favorites. You don't even hear him walking away from us. He just puts those feet down so quietly. See how he flicks out his front paws and his back feet almost go into the same position, walking quietly. So there is another vehicle with us in the sighting, so we are going to try and follow him, stay with him. Hopefully he's leading us back to where his kill is. As we follow him, it's going to be a little bit difficult. He might go through some thick bush, and we're going to head over to Trishala.
Well, best of luck getting through that thick bush. There's nothing like having to follow an animal through the bush, especially when they get up and they're ready to go on the hunt, go on a search, and they're on a mission. They know where they're going. It's not as if they're looking for a spot of shade to lie down in. So it is quite difficult. I often find myself panting sometimes. Remember once I followed Hosanna through a half-hearted attempt to catch a scrub hare. But even that, a half-hearted attempt for a scrub hare, got me panting because you had to... turn this way, no, turn this way. Oh, there's a stump there. Oh, he's out of sight. It can be crazy. But I'm sure Deirdre will do just fine. Well, I have confirmation that the dogs have crossed into Buffelshoek, which is another area just north of us that we can't go and drive onto. So, unfortunately. But you know, with dogs, they go back and forth so often, and they can be tomorrow in the sunrise safari. They may very well be back, which would be cool. I have the question: if I could be an animal, what animal would I be? Sounds like a riddle almost. There's so many. I am the worst person to be asked this question. Though I would really like to be a bird. Which bird? I don't mind too much. But I would really like to be a bird so then I could fly. But then I'd also really like to be a spider. Because I just think that would be amazing. Have many eyes. As you guys know, I wear contact lenses, so imagine having 8 eyes that all work perfectly. That would be amazing. Although I don't think I'm so keen on the hairiness or the 8 limbs. For our Halloween party at camp last year, I came as a spider. I did. That's how much I like them. A green pea spider, that would be cute. I like the green pea spiders. No, I think I'd make a good spider. I would. And then I'd be able to build my house out of myself. Your expenses would be so low. You're catching water in your web. No water bills, no electricity bills. Yeah, I'd say a spider. Definitely. What was the other question that yesterday you guys were asking about who the guys would like to take on drive with them. I wasn't on drive, but I do have a preference. I would love to take Roger Federer on drive with me. I think I must be one of his biggest fans. I absolutely love tennis, and Roger Federer for me, none better than he is. And plus his mum's South African, so maybe he might come to South Africa and come for a safari here. Who knows? And Jamie answered David Attenborough, but slightly on the fence, and I must say I totally agree with her. I would love to have David Attenborough as well, but totally on the fence, because I'd feel so much pressure to have everything perfect. Even though I know that he's like, you know, almost like that wonderful, gentle, giant uncle. But I'd feel so much pressure to get everything perfect. So I'm going to stick with Roger Federer. Hopefully he'll come along and visit and I can take him on drive. Then we could play some tennis. That'd be cool too. So we were looking for a few tracks, leopard tracks to be exact, that Jamie had said that she had seen along that road that we were just on. But now with the light being so poor, I couldn't see too much. Lauren, that is such an interesting question. You want to know, in light of St. Patrick's Day, if there are animals besides birds that have green in them. There are. And green is a really, really interesting color or interesting pigment in nature, because green is not particularly prevalent. And it's not particularly prevalent because the pigment associated with green is not common. And obviously we see it in plants all around us, the green, but that green is because of chloroplasts, or the chlorophyll that's in the chloroplasts. So everything else, all the other wavelengths are being absorbed and the green's getting reflected, which is what we see. And the same applies for birds. Birds don't usually contain a green pigment besides taracos, which are a certain type of bird. So besides taracos, none of the other green birds that you would know, like a green pigeon, actually contains green pigment. Just like a snake and other reptiles that have green in them, or like the green pea spider. That is not actually pigment. Those are different layers that are creating that color. And in the reptiles, it's particularly interesting because you have sort of 3 layers of cells in their skin or their dermis, and they have melanophores at the bottom, and that creates the darkness or the lightness, depending on whether they constrict it or make it big. And then you have sort of an iridescent cell, which will reflect the light in different ways to create different colors. And then you get your chromatophores, which are another set of cells, and those cells have red and yellow. And then a combination of those are used to create green. Green is not actually a pigment that is available in many, many animals. So I think it's actually quite a strange thing to think about, especially when you think green is so common for us. And I love green, I really do. Very, very cool question. Yeah, I think green pea spider for insects. I mean, lots of other insects, beetles as well. Lots of them with green on it. And it's an illusion. How cool is that? Anyway, I'm going to keep on driving along, see what else I can find. Still feeling excited about what I could find. I'm having a good day. In the meantime, let's go over to Deirdre with that wonderful Tingana.
So there's the Duke of the North. He's Duke of Juma, sorry. He's basically been walking slowly and leisurely up the road, doing his nightly business, scent marking on the trees. Smells just like popcorn, but definitely not the same kind of popcorn that my dog Bella likes. This is exactly the smell of freshly popped popcorn is what the male's urine on the tree smells like. So obviously Tingana's been busy drinking quite a lot of water. That helps. And he's now taken a complete left turn. So he's walked all the way on the road to take a left turn. So obviously he didn't feel like walking through the block, through all the grass. He's walking on the roads. That's typical for them because often they use the roads as their territorial boundaries. So he has been marking, and we just keep following him. Now that he's warmed up a little bit, it seems like that limp is gone, walking a bit more comfortably. Oh. So here, quite likely a scent mark again. You see they're just kicking back. They've got scent glands between their feet, so that also allows them to leave scent on the ground. So that's his calling card. Any other territorial male will know that he's still here, he's still dominant. If they want to pick a fight, he's here and he's ready. He may even decide to start calling. That's really awesome to hear when they have that sawing like wood sound, like a makes a really awesome sound. You hear it at night time. That's a calling card that sorry, I didn't copy that, FC. We're hoping that Tingana is going walking towards a kill, but he seems to be taking his time about it, so oh, now they're waiting for Tingana to call. Me too. I'm also waiting for him to call. Hopefully I didn't insult him with my fake leopard call of my rasping sound. He'd generally also do it by facing down into the ground, and he'd call pretty much every 15 minutes or so, just to announce his territory. If he's looking for a female, that's also the way that the females are going to find him. So she'd find him by finding one of his territorial markings. She'd urinate on top of that if she was interested in looking to him for breeding. And then she would start calling, and he, obviously being the territorial male, would then want to find her. So if he's in pursuit of a female, he may then land up calling a lot at shorter intervals, more regularly. Shall we follow him? Under a perfect, almost half moon. It's already starting to get dark. He's going to a tree, so he might actually lift his tail now and scent mark against the tree. I doubt he'll climb the tree. He generally would do that if he's got the kill up there, and I don't see it in that marula. Oh no, he just did a quick scent mark and he's on the move again. So territorial males like him, they can have very large territories, over 10 square kilometers, generally based on the prey availability as well as the competition. So as he gets older, you might find he gets squeezed by other territorial males into a slightly smaller territory, but he has his territory he'll defend from other males, but he has multiple different females that'll live within his territory. So look how, as it gets darker, he's just blending in, even though he's going to almost disappear into the grass. And it's time to go across to Pat in the Mara and just get an update on his spotted cats, the cheetahs.
Well, it may be St. Patrick's Day, but it also is just Patrick's Day. What a incredible day this has been. It actually started out even this morning. Nikki and I were studying in the studio, or working in the studio. I'm sure you, so at least some of you are aware of the studio. And two variable sunbirds came and sat right in front of us on the window. So we were less than a metre, less than 3 feet away from them, perched up, sitting there looking at very beautiful. Then the lion hunt, and now some cheetah as well. So James Richard to the rescue. He has told us that this is Nasarina, which is Kenya's daughter and Naratoy's sister. Nasirian, that's the one. Nasirian. Now, it seems like it's not a cub that she has, so I was expecting a full-blown young cub, but this one seems to be around 1 year old, maybe a little bit less. Manu said that he saw her or him about 5 months ago, and it was still about the same size that it is now, a little bit bigger now. So yeah, so it's still a sub-adult for sure, but just a little bit more grown up than I was expecting, but still absolutely stoked to have come across this. And they are obviously keeping guard of a carcass, so they must have made a kill. And I wonder if the young was involved in helping out with the kill, or whether Nasirian did just do it herself. Oh, there we go, there's a jackal waiting patiently for them to move off so it can come in and scavenge. I'm actually wondering whether anything else is going to come in over the course of the night as well. We obviously saw earlier that Nasirian was being very protective of the carcass and of her young, keeping those jackal at bay. Now, standing proud, getting a bit of a lookout. Very cool to be spending time with these ones. Mary, she is a beauty. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Both of these cheetah are so gorgeous. It's very, oops, sorry, I just knocked my cap there. You probably heard a little bit of crackling. That was, yeah, just... Actually, I'm going to spend a solid minute of quietness, and let's just enjoy the beauty of this cheetah, the sounds of the night, and hopefully if the young starts feeding again, we might even get some crunching of some bones. It was feeding just a second ago. just trying to get a little bit closer with my head and therefore my microphone to see if we can get the sounds of the eating. It even has ceased, but what a beautiful little moment that was. You can see it dragging that carcass along. I still didn't get a proper look to see exactly what they did manage to take down. But whatever it is, I think it's definitely ample. I got a look at the young one's belly before and it was very full. I've never seen such a big belly on a cheetah in my life. So it's definitely had itself a nice little feed. I actually read the other day an average adult cheetah will eat, I think, about 2.6 kilograms of meat in a sitting after a kill. So that's in pounds, about 5 to 6 pounds, maybe a little bit more. Jackals still hanging on the outskirts, waiting for their chance to come in and maybe steal a little bit for themselves. Obviously quite a bit smaller than a cheetah and wouldn't require as much food. So, well, I'm hopeful that they leave a little bit for you. Is this? This drive just keeps getting better and better. That was a nice little interaction. Again, I'm just going to stay quiet so we can listen to all this unfold. You tell him. You tell him. Yeah, let's do an unscheduled here. This is a very cool sighting. Welcome everybody to this special broadcast coming to you live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. We have a very interesting scene here. We have found a cheetah by the name of Nasirian and her young sub-adult, and they have made a kill and with a carcass, but there are black-backed jackals trying to get in at the carcass and take a bit for themselves. So there's been a bit of a dispute between the cheetah and the jackals. It seems like one there has gotten itself a little bit of carrion. Now, my name is Patrick, and joining me on camera is Manu. If you have any questions or comments throughout this broadcast, please use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or whatever chat stream you're on. But let's get back to the action here. So this cheetah, this female cheetah, has been keeping... I'm just going to reverse a little bit. Actually, I'm going to have to do a circle. I don't want to reverse just because I can't see behind me and it is nighttime. I don't want to do anything to disturb the animals. So just bear with me for 2 seconds here. Okay. So... seems like the cheetah may have retreated off the carcass. Was that the other cheetah or a jackal over here to the left? Ah, yes. So, it seems like the jackals may have won this one. The cheetah have moved away now. I'm just going to get my flashlight out and see if I can relocate the carcass to see if there is... Yeah, okay, so just to my right, we can see the jackals have managed to get themselves in. Wow. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible. So don't feel bad for the cheetah. They did get their fill. The little one was snacking away for quite a while there. How crazy is this? Well, accolades to the jackals for pulling through and pushing those cheetah off. The mother was doing a great job of keeping them away. We've been with this carcass for about 20 minutes or half an hour, and the jackals had made a few attempts to get towards it, but every time they got chased off. It looks like there may even be a little bit of dispute amongst the jackals themselves. Kathy, I don't think the cheetahs would ever eat the jackals. They would probably prefer a nice Thompson's gazelle. Cheetah and jackals are both carnivores, so they will compete for food, but they will most likely not eat one another. Perhaps in desperate situations if they did come across a dead jackal, but I highly doubt it. Kristen, that is very likely that all of that commotion and noise made by the jackals could bring in other scavengers. It may have been heard by some hyenas. And yes, I do think that it may, throughout the night, have attracted some more attention. And so it will be interesting to see what does unfold over this carcass. There may be, yeah, as I said, some bigger hyenas come through to chase the jackal off, but I didn't get to have a good look at the carcass, so I wasn't sure exactly what it was. I'm guessing it is a small antelope of some sort. So perhaps it might just be enough to feed the jackal, and it was pretty well fed on as well while we were with it. But yes, there is every chance that the noise could attract other scavengers throughout the night. Still a little bit of narkiness going on there between them. I'll just move up towards the carcass a little bit so we can try and get a better look at what is happening here. Sally is happy for the jackals that they got some food. He's saying way to go, and I'm actually kind of thinking the same, just because the cheetahs did get a good feed in. Yeah, it was a nice little win to see actually. I do love blackback jackals. If anybody was joining us in our regular broadcast just before, you would have seen the one that I was following along the road. They're such brave animals. They don't often run in the face of danger, and are very, very confident around bigger animals, as we just saw then. We have one that's just scampered off. I'm just gonna have a quick look and see if I can see if the cheetah is still in sight. Okay, so they are over there. Alrighty, well, I'll just move a little bit closer so we can see that jackal's actually feeding, and then I'll go back over to those cheetah. We're just a little bit up the road from it. Well, not up the road, up the grass from us. Lynn, yes, so cheetah are very wary of other predators and definitely don't want him to be injured. So cheetahs really do rely on their body and their speed. Oh, I'm just going to stay quiet while this dispute is going on. But yes, so they really do not want to risk injury. So you'll see they are very timid towards other attacks, especially around carcasses. And yeah, they really do rely on their body functioning normally in order to be able to make survival for themselves, to be able to feed and move around, and find mates, find water. So an injury out here can really harm, well, it can mean death in many cases for an animal, especially a delicate animal like a cheetah. They're not built like the other big cats. As I said, they're built for speed rather than for power and strength, and so can be hurt quite easily. People often compare them to the Ferraris of the cats. So they're fast, agile, but easy to wreck. So I can see those horns now. This definitely, it does look to be a Thompson's gazelle. It is very cool to watch, everyone. It's been a great day today for me. We've had lion hunts, elephants, giraffes, and now this, the cheetahs and the jackals. And the jackals are taking over the carcass for themselves. Absolutely unbelievable stuff here in the Masai Mara of Kenya. So yeah, that definitely, it does seem to be a little gazelle. And I was wondering earlier on whether both the cheetahs were involved in the hunt or whether it was just the older and more experienced mother that took it down. When we did first arrive, the young cheetah was feeding on it. Again, I'm just going to stay quiet. Let us listen to this feeding. Oh, so hyena's come in. Hyena has come in. So, as I was thinking, hyena's come to take over. 2 hyenas now. Oh wow, this is escalating even further. They came out of nowhere. Wow, how exciting is this? Jackals are still trying to get back into it, but those hyenas came in like a ton of bricks. Just took over completely. Wow. So this does just highlight the animal that makes the kill isn't necessarily the only one that feeds on it. There'll be a long list of other animals that will come in, as hyenas and jackals and vultures as well. And then, of course, the decomposition phase. It's the whole circle of life, isn't it? I think another hyena's coming in now. Yeah, the snapping of those bones. Hyenas have both very strong jaws and very strong digestive systems, so they can often crunch that bone right down. Geez, it must be busy work right now, trying to eat and keep others away from your food at the same time. But I'm sure the energy expended is worth the energy gained from the food. What a scuffle this is. This would have to be up there with one of the best sightings I've ever had out here in the Masai Mara. So cool. And I think the best thing of it all is so far no one has been seriously hurt. None of the animals have copped an injury from this. But it's not over yet, having said that. Jackals are still trying their hardest to get in. Hyenas are doing a good job of defending. Lorena, yeah, same. I do love that jackals are so brave as well. It's just, it's so cool to see such a small animal stick up for themselves. It reminds me of the damselfish, which are these small fish underwater that will aggressively defend their territory against anything, even big human divers. They will come and charge them, even though they're probably no longer than 10 to 15 centimetres, so about 5 to 7 inches long. I hope you're all hearing this as well as I am. Oh, we've got two little hyena cubs coming. Oh no, perhaps it's not. It looks a bit smaller, but yeah, perhaps maybe. Oh yeah, it still looks quite young actually. Got all of its spots there. Nice fur coating. It does seem to be a sub-adult there, that hyena. Get in there, son. Let's see if you can grab yourself a little bit more. Now, I'm sorry, if there are any sensitive viewers watching, this probably isn't the best thing for you, so I do ask that you turn away if that is the case. This is just nature though, and how things unfold out here. So hyenas are often regarded as scavengers, but they are not just scavengers as well. They are incredibly intelligent creatures and incredibly good at problem solving and working together as a team. And this, combined with the fact that they are fit, they can run for a long time at pretty good speeds, they make them quite good hunters as well as scavengers. But when they do see the opportunity to take a meal, they will also do that. You can see them mobbing even lions. When they have enough numbers, they will take on lions for a kill and successfully take the kill from them as well. Just scanning again for the cheetahs. So the cheetah are nowhere to be seen now. Everybody's saying they're loving hearing the noises though, so again, I'm just gonna let you all enjoy it. Battle for survival, hey? Everyone, everything, just doing whatever it can to keep itself alive. Still, just can't believe this. It's so cool. Darcia is asking, do they tend to be not so overly aggressive when there is enough to share? Well, yes, in a way, yes. You'll know this, the larger the carcass, the more meat there is, the less conflict there tends to be. Sorry, I'm just going to, again, let you listen to this. But yes, so I've actually even seen a hyena and a leopard feeding on the same carcass without much conflict, and I've seen it with hyenas and lions as well, but quite often between species there is generally always some form of conflict after some time, but between species there will be less conflict the more food there is. It's all about that intra-species relationships. Just so cool to watch. It is almost like watching a game of sports, isn't it? You know, both teams trying to use tactics. One attacks, one defends. And the prize, well, a bit of meat in their tummies. Looks like the jackals on the left may have separated a little bit of carrion, or maybe they would know. Perhaps they were just sniffing around. Big bite. Big crunch there from the hyena. This one doesn't want to share at all. This one's all to itself. You can see chased off another hyena. Yep. Yep, everyone stay away. Happening all around the car right now. So absolutely crazy. That just exploded right around the vehicle right then. There were animals going everywhere. How incredible is this? So we came here expecting maybe to see some cheetah, and boy oh boy have we gotten a whole lot more than just that. We had a whole feeding frenzy. Cheetah started off keeping those jackals at bay, but once they got in and alerted the hyena, well, it was everyone's game after that. And as I said, the cheetah are long gone now. I can't see them anywhere around, and so it's just down to the jackals and the hyenas. Oscar's saying it sounds like his kids during dinner. Yes, well, I grew up in a family with 4 boys, and I can definitely agree with that. The dinner table can get quite crazy when it comes to kids and big families. Excuse me. Looks like everyone is now scratching around for some remains. The carcass, it seems like it's been fairly pulled apart now. And yes, as I said, being in a family of 4 boys, I know what it's like to defend your food whilst also trying to eat it at the same time. Now, yeah, they're all sniffing it around for some remains. Nice. A piece of carrion to carry on home, pun intended. Marcy wants to know whether these jackals are related to the dogs because they sound the same. Well, yes, so they are part of the caniforms order, which is all of the dog-like ones, and then there is the feliforms, which are your cat-like animals. in the carnivora. Perhaps, no, it's a suborder, sorry, suborders. The two are suborders, and carnivora is the order. And in the class Mammalia, while we're going up the taxonomic tree there. Okay, so everything has gone behind the car. I think it's coming back around this side. Doing circles around the car right now. Just when I thought it was starting to die down. And another dispute over a piece there. And still the action continues. Wowee. It's really, really interesting. Just to see the dynamics around the carcass. What a very, very interesting night this has turned out to be. Sorry, I'm just fixing up some of these cables here so I can get some comms. But it does seem like the action has all died down now. Thank you all so much for joining us. If this wasn't enough for you, we've always got more Safari Live, 2 live drives a day. So make sure to search Safari Live on YouTube, and I hope to see you all soon. Welcome back, everyone, all of our regular viewers. What? That is all I can say right now. I am overjoyed at how this day has panned out. I think it must have been a St. Patrick's Day blessing for sure. My Irish heritage really coming in handy today. It seems like they are still looking around a little bit, seeing if there's anything left. Well, now that everything has died down here, I'm sure we can all start to unwind with a bit more of a peaceful sighting. Trishala has some Ellies.
Yes, definitely. Geez, Pat's heart must be beating so fast. That was so exciting. But yes, this is a much more peaceful, more relaxed sighting. Elephants have been so good to me now. Look at that full mouth. You'll notice we are in infrared, like I'm sure some of the other guys have explained, so that we have no artificial lights shining onto them. So they're completely in their natural environment. Ah, there we go. Reach up with your trunk. Oh. Wasn't that interesting? Mm. So Mum broke that branch, pulled it down, almost for the baby. So cool. Can you imagine being in the darkness like this, and you can hear the shuffling and breaking of branches and grass? I can imagine it'd be quite scary, especially if you hear this big thing coming up behind you. Even it's really dark now as it is, and when we came up towards them, I saw them in front of me, but I had to take up my spotlight and check behind and the sides as well, because you will never know if they're lurking just behind the bushes. We also had some whooping. A hyena was calling not too far from us. Stink bugs, they are everywhere. And now I can smell it. In fact, would you like to see a stink bug? I wonder if he'll be able to. Let me put him there. Oh, no, he's run off just as soon as I decided to show him to him. Where are you? I can smell you. It's the most horrible thing. I've even had one in my mouth. Oh, did you hear that? Can you hear the hyena as well? And one is whooping and the other one is responding. So cool. The darkness of the bush really is something else. Look at that thickness. Ooh, somebody's close. So cool. Let's see if you're close by. Still not. And our elephants have moved off to the side as well. But I'm quite happy. This is, after Patrick's sighting, this is a very chilled, relaxed kind of sighting. I love it. Elephants have moved off. Hyenas are coming alive in the night time. It really is nice, isn't it? It's like a story time of the African bush. Beautiful. And I was just saying to Seb, it is a stunning evening this evening. Oh, you're still in front of us. Let's move a little bit forward to get a better view of you. Something's landed on me, probably more stink bug. Oh, there's a tiny one. Look how they're standing together, almost like a puzzle. So cute. You see that little trunk dangling down? And can you see that they're quite still? Apart from obviously baby and trunk, which doesn't seem to care too much for listening out to the herd members. But often when they stand like that and they stand still, they're listening. And they're listening to the sounds that we can't hear. They're listening to infrasonic sounds. Beautiful. Hey guys, going for a nighttime stroll. Oh, I like that. Now, can you see that? The legs picked up just a little bit. They're listening, they're concentrating. They're unsure what they want to do next. There you go, guys. Move off comfortably. And reach up. Absolutely stunning. We've had such an amazing drive. Absolutely amazing drive. Elephants, wild dogs, cheetah, jackal, hyena, and of course, Tingana. Always a pleasure. Well, you know, it's that time. Thank you so much for your questions and comments. And remember to join us again for the sunrise safari tomorrow morning. Thank you and bye-bye.